It was a weekend night, November of 2015. My 7-year-old son, Sean, was having a sleepover with 4 of his friends at the time. My wife wasn't home for whatever reason. So I had to keep a somewhat close watch on them without making it too obvious. They were all in Sean's room making a lot of noise. And when things would get either too quiet or too loud, I would sneak over to the bedroom door and just listen to what was going on. You may think that's weird, but this was my wife's instructions. And any married man knows you never want to go against what your wife tells you to do. When it was getting a little loud, I went over to the door and heard that they were all just simply playing with Legos and other toys very loudly. So I went back to the living room to watch TV. Eventually, I heard weird thumping type noises coming from my son's room. I muted the TV and could discern them to be taps on one of the windows. I figured let them have their fun so long as they're not breaking anything. I unmuted the TV. However, I quickly realized things went completely silent from down the hall in my son's room. Now I was nervous that they might have broken something because it was very uncommon for them to all be completely silent for so long. So I once again crept over to Sean's bedroom door and listened. I could hear quiet giggling and whispering in the room. I finally opened the door out of curiosity and saw the 4 boys sitting on the rug with a mess of toys scattered all over the place. I noticed that the window was completely open. I told C to keep it shut and to also keep the noise down a little bit. Before shutting the door, I made a stop into the bathroom before planning to go back to the living room. However, when I was in the bathroom, I noticed through the corner of my eye a black shadow passing the window outside. I ran back to my son's room and told the 4 boys not to go outside. Then that's when it hit me. There were only 4 boys in the room as opposed to 5. Sean's friend Tom was missing in a panic. I yelled at Sean to tell me where he was, and they all pointed to the open window. Sean said that he left with the pirate to go find the treasure. In that moment, I felt a mixture of feelings in my stomach, but mostly like it was about to explode. I wouldn't be able to fit through that window. So I ran out the front door and caught view of a man holding Tom's hand and walking towards a car. I yelled at him to stop. They both turned around, and then the man let go of Tom, hopped into the tan-colored Toyota Corolla, and floored it down the streets. I ran to grab Tom and brought him back inside. I was no longer comfortable with the sleepover and called all the parents, told them what happened, and suggested they all come and pick up their kids, which is exactly what they did. I received a bit of criticism from Tom's parents at first, but they ultimately thanked me, and their son is still good friends with my son. The boys all said that a random man came to Sean's window, knocked on it, lifted it open himself, and talked in a pirate voice, asking one of the kids to come with him to find the treasure. The fact that this happened in the assumed safety of my own house, and that it actually worked, is what disturbs me the most. My friend Sarah and my best friend Canada needed to find something to do and somewhere to smoke. There are woods in a very short walking distance from Sarah's house, and us all being very adventurous, 15-year-olds thought that that would be perfect. We could smoke, then adventure the woods. Thinking back, I wish we would have smoked behind Sarah's house and just watched scary stories or some blank one. But we didn't. When we made it to the opening that led into the woods that we went in, we adventured, we smoked, and overall we had fun. And I wish this story ended there. You could clearly see anyone entering or exiting the woods from the streets. Sarah lives in a very nice neighborhood except one house beside the woods. The woods that we were in, this house was old, and me and my friends often joked about how it looked like something out of The Hills Have Eyes. It was a rusty blue tin house with pigs in the backyard. We were all on the path exiting the woods when we saw a bluish-gray Chevy pickup. The truck started up, and me and my friends jokingly decided to run away from it. And we were shocked to see the truck started following us every time we stopped. So did it, we took off running. There was a small hill that we hid behind, so the truck couldn't see us. The truck passed, and after a while we got up, laughed it off, and started walking out of the woods thinking it was a joke. After about 5 minutes of walking, we started to approach the exit, but we were all struck with fear when we saw headlights blocking the exit. We looked at each other, wondering what to do. Upon looking into the truck, I saw that it was a larger-sized man in a hat and red shirt, but that was all I could see from that distance. In panic, Canada pulled out a small pocket knife. However, I didn't have much trust in her abilities to use it, so I took the knife as we all ran into the woods until we thought we were safe. We waited for a second. Gathering our thoughts and our breath, and finally left the woods and went to Sarah's house. This happened at the end of our freshman year of high school. We all in the ninth grade, middle of our sophomore year now, and we've since stayed away from those woods for months on September 10th. However, we went into the woods one last time. It was Sarah's birthday, and again, we needed to find somewhere to smoke. There were 6 girls and 2 boys, so we thought it would be fine to go back into the woods, figuring safety in numbers. After entering the woods and walking for a while, we found a path. Me, Sarah, and Canada had seen the path before, but we never adventured it to get to the path. You had to go down a small, steep hill. We all made it down the hill, and soon after came up to a fork in the path. Leading 2 ways, we chose to go left. It was a short trail which led to a small building that looked like it was abandoned before having been fully built. There was a wooden ladder, a small fire pit, but perhaps the oddest thing we found were the saws hanging by strings from tree to tree. Given that we were all stoned, perhaps we didn't take the findings as seriously as we normally would have. We decided to adventure down the right side of the fork in the path. Not far down the path, we found something truly horrific. There was a hangman-like a structure, there was a noose on the grounds, an old pair of shoes nearby, and a shovel. I had never felt so uneasy in my life. We took pictures of everything, and we quickly left the woods safely, and I've made a personal promise to never go back into those woods. We believe the man who chased us in the pickup truck had something to do with what we found in the woods, and we were only more grateful after this that he didn't catch.